If you've tried scripting, tried visualizing, tried all the manifestation methods only to find yourself exhausted, maybe it's time we pause for a moment. Maybe nothing is wrong with you at all. Maybe the exhaustion is a signal not of failure, but of outgrowing the old way of trying. For years, we've been told that to get what we want, we have to do something. We're instructed to write an affirmation 55 times, create complex vision boards, and repeat mantras until we're tired. But have you ever wondered if the very act of forceful doing is what's keeping you stuck in a loop of waiting and lack? What if the methods stopped working, not because you did them wrong, but because the version of you who needed them no longer exists? There's a very specific fatigue that comes with this process. The fatigue of practicing techniques that feel like a chore. The exhaustion of scanning your reality every 5 minutes. Looking for a tiny sign that the thing you want is finally on its way. It's almost like a second job, isn't it? One you're pouring energy into with hope, only to face an unchanged reality each day. From a psychological perspective, when you constantly try to achieve something, you might be unconsciously sending a very clear signal to your subconscious mind that you don't have it yet. Every act of trying done with impatience is a confirmation of the feeling of lack. It's like an energetic declaration stating, "It is not yet here." And the nervous system doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what it has already accepted as normal. In this video, we're going to explore why it's so important to stop striving to manifest and instead learn to choose an internal state that corresponds to where you already have what you desire. We'll look back at the old model of chasing and attracting, and I'll share a different framework. A framework that isn't about creating something from nothing, but about accessing a version of yourself that already exists, in a reality that is already complete. Stay with me on this journey, because this might just be the missing piece that makes everything else click into place. Let's look deeper into why traditional manifestation methods sometimes don't deliver the expected results. Often, it's not because you're doing the technique wrong or using the wrong kind of pen. The root cause might be that the very foundation of trying is built on a sense of separation, a gap between you and what you desire. Imagine you go to a restaurant and order your favorite dish. You give your request to the waiter. You don't then get up, run to the kitchen, and knock on the door every 2 minutes asking, "Is it almost ready? Are you sure you're making it? Can I see it?" That would be absurd. It shows a complete lack of trust in the process. The chef and the restaurant, you order and you trust. You sit down, talk to your friends, and enjoy the ambiance. You act as if the food is definitely coming. Yet, this is how many of us treat our desires. We place our order with life and then spend all our energy in a state of anxiety, constantly checking on the kitchen. This state of trying often stems from a deep-seated belief that what we want is not here, that it's far away, and that we have to work relentlessly to close that gap. This is the trap. When you sit down to write "I am wealthy" over and over, but the dominant feeling in your body is the sharp pain of unpaid bills, which message do you think is more powerful? The words on the paper or the anxious knot in your stomach? Our reality isn't just shaped by words. It's a direct reflection of our state of being. The way we feel about ourselves is the real magnet. The external world is a mirror reflecting your inner self. This phenomenon is known in philosophy and psychology by various names. But a prominent one is the law of reversed effort, popularized by the philosopher Alan Watts. He pointed out that in many aspects of life, the more we consciously try to achieve something, the more we fail. For instance, the more you try to float on water, the more your body tends to sink. Similarly, the more you try to be happy, The more you become aware of your unhappiness, trying creates effort. But effort without internal coherence creates friction, not movement. This constant trying can even lead to a negative cycle. Some psychological studies have shown that while a belief in manifestation can promote optimism, it can also be associated with unrealistic expectations and risky financial decisions when goals aren't met. People might make large, risky choices based on the hope of a future outcome, rather than acting from the stability and wisdom of the present. This doesn't mean that tools like visualization or affirmations are worthless. They can be perfectly effective. But they are tools to reprogram your internal state, not to beg an external force. According to a philosophical system known as the law of assumption, the world is not a separate entity you need to convince. It is simply a mirror reflecting the person you are being. So, if you are being a person who is always striving in anxiety, the mirror can only reflect back more reasons to strive. The problem isn't the technique, it's the energy behind it. The very feeling of trying cancels out the intention. Perhaps it's time we let go of that struggle. All right. This is where we can explore an idea that helps reshape our relationship with reality. Here is a potential solution. The goal isn't to create a new reality from scratch. It's to access a reality that already exists. To make this easier to visualize, let's use a mental model. Some people like to illustrate this with concepts from theoretical physics, like the many worlds interpretation. But I want to be clear, we are not talking about proven, mainstream science. Mainstream science does not currently support the idea that we can consciously choose to jump between parallel realities. However, using it as a mental model, a metaphor for life, is an incredibly powerful way to reclaim your autonomy. It shifts you from the role of a desperate builder to a conscious chooser. Think of it like this: your current reality is just one frequency on a radio with infinite channels. All the other channels are broadcasting simultaneously. There's a channel where you are a successful artist. There's a channel where you are in a deep, fulfilling relationship. There's a channel where you are healthy and vibrant. Those realities, those songs, are already playing. They are already complete. Traditional manifestation thinking teaches you to try to compose that song from scratch on your current, out-of-tune channel. It's slow, exhausting, and full of static. This new model suggests stop trying to compose the music. Just change the frequency. Your consciousness is the tuner. Your feeling and your focus are what turn the dial. You simply need to adjust your personal frequency to match the frequency of the reality you wish to experience. This idea is central to the teachings of the 20th century spiritual philosopher Neville Goddard and his law of assumption. This law states that what you assume to be true, with genuine feeling and persistence, will eventually manifest as a fact in your reality. Goddard emphasized that feeling is the secret. He wasn't talking about a fleeting emotion, but a deep, internal knowing, an acceptance that the wish is already fulfilled. You don't hope for wealth, you assume the state of wealth. You don't wish for love, you assume the feeling of being loved. This perspective also resonates with the thoughts of the great psychologist Carl Jung, who said, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." This highlights that real change begins with exploring the inner world, rather than seeking validation from the outside. In some personal development methods, the quantum field is described as an invisible field of energy containing all possibilities. As Dr. Joe Dispenza describes in his work, when you are matter trying to change matter, it takes a lot of time and energy. But when you can connect to this field of potential as pure consciousness, you can bring new possibilities into your reality. You are not building a bridge to a distant castle. The castle is already built. The life you want already exists. The version of you who has it all is real. Your job is not to build, but to shift, to choose that timeline, to tune into that channel, and to embody the version of you who is already there. So, how do we actually do this? How do we stop trying and start choosing? The method can be based on 3 core pillars. This isn't a one-time trick. It's a new approach to life. Pillar 1. Define the person you are becoming. First, you need to get radically clear, not on what you want, but on who you are in the reality where you already have it. This is much deeper than just saying, "I want $1 million." The real question is, what kind of person are you as a millionaire? This is a shift at the identity level. I encourage you to take a notebook and really explore this person. Don't just list assets. Dive into their essence. How do they walk into a room? Do they move with a hurried rush? Or do they walk with a calm, grounded confidence? How do they communicate? Does their voice carry hesitation? Or do they speak with a grounded certainty? What is their dominant emotional state? Are they constantly worried? Or do they live in a state of gratitude, peace, and creative flow? What do they believe about the world? Do they believe life is a struggle? Or do they believe they are always supported and everything is always working out for them? Be specific. What does this version of you think about upon waking? What decisions do they make? And just as importantly, what kind of new problems might they have? The version of you with a thriving business isn't worrying about rent. They might be thinking about leading a team and expanding their impact. This makes the identity feel more real, not like a distant fantasy. A useful exercise is to write a journal page from the perspective of this future self. In the past tense, today was amazing. I woke up feeling so refreshed and spent the morning reviewing incredible sales reports. I had a great lunch with my team to celebrate, and the feeling of success in our collaboration was exhilarating. Feel the truth of it as you write. This isn't a wish list. It's an identity blueprint. Pillar 2. Embody the state. Feeling is the key. This is the engine of the process. Once you have defined the person you are becoming, your main job is to embody their state of being now, before you have any external evidence. As Neville Goddard said, you must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Many people might find this difficult, they say. But that's just deluding myself. I can't feel wealthy when my bank account is empty. This is a misunderstanding of our own capabilities. You are not faking an emotion. You are actively generating it. You have access to the entire spectrum of human emotion right here, right now. Regardless of circumstances, you can choose to feel joy, gratitude, or peace in this very second. It's a conscious choice of your internal state, not a pretense. Interestingly, neuroscience supports this. For example, research on mental rehearsal in sports shows that vividly imagining an action can activate similar neural pathways as actually doing it, which improves performance. While this doesn't mean you can magically change the world with thought alone, it shows that by consistently generating the feeling of your desired reality, you are literally rewiring your brain and reconditioning your body to a new emotional state. You are rehearsing for your future. Meditation is your laboratory for this. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and temporarily disconnect from your surroundings. Then, intentionally, call up the dominant feeling of the person you are becoming. Is it relief freedom? Unshakable security? Don't just think about it. Generate it in your body. Let it spread through you. Feel the tension leave your shoulders. Feel your heart open. Linger in that feeling. The more often you visit this state, the more it becomes your natural default. You are changing your energetic signature. Pillar 3. Act from the destination. This third pillar is where the internal shift begins to manifest externally. Acting from the destination means you start making decisions from the consciousness of the new person, not from your current consciousness. Your actions begin to flow naturally from your new state, without force or struggle. Ask yourself throughout the day, how would the version of me who is already what you are becoming handle this? What would they choose? Would the version of you who is healthy and vibrant choose greasy fast food or a nourishing meal? Would the version of you who runs a successful business spend 3 hours scrolling on social media? Or would they use that time for a high-impact task? Would the version of you in a secure, loving relationship start an unnecessary argument? Or would they communicate from a place of trust? Crucially, this is not a license for reckless action, like spending all your savings because you believe you're a millionaire. That isn't wisdom. That's magical thinking, which can lead to negative consequences. Instead, it's about the thousands of small choices you make every day. It's choosing to invest in a course to learn a new skill, because you are someone who invests in their growth. It's choosing to set a healthy boundary with a toxic person, because you are someone who respects their own energy. This should be built upon radical acceptance of your current circumstances. This is not about hating your reality. You accept it as it is a temporary point on your journey while living internally from the state of your destination. By accepting what is, you release resistance, which paradoxically helps you shift faster. You still handle what's in front of you, but you do it with a completely transformed perspective. When you master these 3 pillars, define, embody, and act from the destination, you are no longer trying to attract your desire. You are simply shifting into the timeline where it is already yours. Acceptance releases friction, and friction is what slows shifts the most. So, let's bring it all together. The old paradigm of manifestation, with its constant striving, waiting, and the feeling that you are separate from your good, we can choose to leave all of that behind. A new understanding can be, you are not a victim of circumstance. You are the conscious operator of your own reality. You are the chooser of timelines. All versions of reality are accessible right now, and you select your experience by choosing your state of being. Stop trying, start being. This whole process is a journey of self-transformation. It's about changing your inner world so profoundly that the outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match. It's about remembering that your autonomy has always been right here, in the present moment. You don't need reality to give you permission to feel good. You don't need to wait for external proof before you decide to be the person you want to be. You decide first, you feel it first, you become it first. When your internal state changes, the way you think, feel, and act naturally changes, and the external reality often reflects that shift. The waiting is over. The power was never out there. It has been, and always will be, within you. You just have to decide which version of you is running the show. To really anchor this shift, I invite you to make a small commitment today. In the comments below, share one core belief that the person you are becoming holds as an unshakable truth. It could be, I am always supported, money flows to me easily and consistently, or I am worthy of deep and unconditional love. By writing it down, you are planting a flag in your new timeline. And if you want to go deeper with a guided practice to help you define and step into that future self, I've created a free guide called the Timeline Shift Blueprint. It will walk you through journaling prompts and a short meditation to make this process even more powerful. You can download it for free at the link in the description. Thank you for being here and for being open to this perspective. Your new reality is waiting.